Jin looked up, his young eyes reflecting the brilliant golden light. Right before him, deeply embedded in the earth, was a colossal greatsword, emanating a powerful energy that seemed to make the surrounding space vibrate. Amidst the crowd of Runcandel knights and elders, murmurs of astonishment began to rise. An elder, unable to hide his bewilderment, exclaimed, "How can this be? The Patriarch's sword!" A knight hastily turned towards the throne, reporting with a trembling voice, "My Patriarch, youngest Master Jin." From the throne, the Patriarch's voice rang out, cold and authoritative, overpowering all noise. "The youngest has been chosen by Barisada. The selection ceremony concludes. Bring the boy to Storm Castle." Amidst the tense atmosphere, only Jin seemed unaware of the upheaval he had just caused. The boy sat down on the green grass, curiously reaching out his tiny, innocent hand to touch the cold, flat surface of the greatsword. A gentle light from the sword enveloped him, a stark contrast to the destined darkness slowly descending upon his life.
6 long years had passed. Storm Castle still stood tall, solitary amidst the tranquil night. Outside, rain poured down, angry emerald lightning rent the sky, illuminating the cold stone walls and sharp spires. The storm continuously roared, as if intending to swallow the entire castle. Inside the vast library, under the dim light, the boy Jin Runcandel stood on tiptoe, straining to reach a book on the towering shelf. Sweat beaded his forehead as his small fingers were just a short distance from the book's spine. "Damn it, can't reach," Jin mumbled to himself, a hint of annoyance in his eyes. He lowered his hand, looking around the room filled with books. "It's been 6 years since I came to this storm castle. By clan rules, I have to stay here until I'm 10, so 3 more years. How boring." Disappointed, Jin plopped down onto a luxurious armchair, his small feet dangling, not touching the ground. He casually grabbed a thick book nearby, flipping through a few pages indifferently, his face clearly showing infinite boredom. Suddenly, a shrill, horrified scream rang out, tearing through the castle's silence. "Huh?" Jin flinched, the book slipping from his hand and falling to the floor. The boy immediately sprang to his feet, turning sharply towards the sound, his blue eyes wide, full of vigilance and bewilderment.
The maid stood frozen, her face pale with fear. She stammered, her voice trembling. "What is it? Young master, there's a dead bird in your room." On the cold floor, the carcass of a pitiful bird lay in a puddle of dried blood, its feathers disheveled. Contrary to the maid's panic, Jin merely looked at the scene silently, his face hidden in shadow, chillingly calm and composed. He knew too well, in this storm castle, the only ones capable of doing this. "Oh dear," a voice spoke from the doorway, tinged with mockery. "Poor bird." 2 figures entered the room. Jin silently called their names in his head. "My brothers." Daytona, the 11th brother with spiky black hair, clucked his tongue, feigning regret. "Tss, too bad. The maid found it first." "That's right. We placed it there for you to see. How's our gift?" Standing beside him, Haytona, the 12th brother with silver-white hair, also sneered. "Are you moved to tears?" Before the provocations, Jin remained silent, his eyes gleaming with a deep and unreadable gaze.
Memories of the future suddenly flooded Jin's mind, a blood-soaked vision where his twin brothers Daytona and Haytona became notorious murderers. But now they were only 9-year-olds. Jin squeezed the hand holding the tiny bird's corpse, rage and disgust surging within him. How could they mercilessly kill an innocent creature just to torment him? Regular footsteps echoed behind him. Haytona and Daytona approached, Haytona's voice full of mockery. "Hey, did you hear what we said? Don't actually cry. It's such a hassle. The one destined to be the future family head doesn't even respect us, does he?" Daytona stood nearby, smirking. "Where did you leave your Barisada sword?" Faced with their provocations, Jin remained silent, his back still towards them, offering no reply. His silence seemed to infuriate Haytona. He stepped closer, leaning next to Jin's ear with a sneer. "What's wrong? Say it again. You're so quiet, I can't hear anything." Without waiting for Jin to react, a strong punch landed squarely on his shoulder. A dry clack echoed as Jin's hand clamped down on his brother's flaunting wrist. Haytona froze, his bloodshot eyes wide with shock, unable to believe the unexpected action of the younger brother he always disdained. A dark, cold aura began to pour from Jin, merging with the mystical blue light emanating from his eyes. He looked up, his voice deep and sharp, piercing through Haytona's astonishment. "I told you, shut your mouth." Suddenly, a mighty punch landed on Haytona's face, making him let out a small cry of pain. He staggered, rage and humiliation erupting fiercely as he tried to get up, roaring, "You dare!" But before his words finished, Jin lunged forward. A second punch, even faster and stronger, was thrown. Jin's fist flared with a blinding blue halo, crashing directly into Haytona's face with tremendous force. As his brother flew backward, Jin stood firm, his fist still clenched, the dark energies and blue light still lingering. He subtly ground his teeth, his voice filled with suppressed emotion finally unleashed. "I've endured until now."
I can't take it anymore. A thunderous strike, imbued with powerful blue energy, slammed directly into the chest of the instigator. The young man coughed in pain before falling backward. Jin stood tall, dark energy still lingering on his hands. With a cold and resolute expression, he spoke, his voice devoid of emotion. "From now on, it's best if you all stay as far out of my sight as possible." At that moment, the door burst open. Khan, the bodyguard, rushed into the room, his face filled with extreme panic upon witnessing the scene before him. Two young masters lying motionless on the floor, while Jin stood there, frighteningly calm. "What in the world is happening, young masters?" Jin casually lowered his hands, and the dark energy dissipated. Khan helped him up, his expression still bewildered and incredulous. "Young Master Jin, what on earth happened?" He glanced at the two individuals, then back at Jin, seemingly trying to come up with a logical explanation. "Did they fight each other? What did you say?" Jin looked down at the bodyguard with a sharp, intimidating gaze. "Didn't you hear me clearly? I already told you. They suddenly fought each other and then collapsed."
In the arms of bodyguard Khan, Haytona gritted his teeth, suppressing a painful groan. The boy's resilience made Khan secretly think, truly a Runcandel descendant, even a child is so fierce. Nevertheless, Haytona still whispered through gritted teeth, "I understand." Seeing the condition of the two young masters, Khan respectfully suggested, "I understand. In that case, I will take them to see a doctor." "No, Khan," Jin interrupted, his voice sharp and his eyes gleaming with unusual resolve. "There is a place they need to go. Follow me." With that, Jin turned, his small but resolute back leading the way out of the luxurious corridor into the vast darkness. Outside, a heavy rain was pouring down relentlessly, washing the stone slabs in the garden. In the desolate forest, beneath the white curtain of rain, Jin, now cloaked in a black robe with his head covered, stood silently before a simple earthen grave without an engraved tombstone. He slowly reached out and lightly touched the damp mound of earth, a solemn and contemplative gesture.
Under the torrential night rain, two figures lay motionless on the cold ground. Khan walked over to Jin, his face clearly showing worry as he watched the raindrops grow heavier. "Master Jin," Khan spoke up, "are you just going to leave them here? The rain's about to get worse." Jin stood silently, his small but resolute back turned towards the bodyguard. His gaze was fixed on the two individuals lying on the ground. They need to know what they've done. Hearing the unwavering cruelty in his master's voice, Khan was momentarily stunned but then bowed his head in acceptance. "As you command, master." Without another word, Jin coldly turned on his heel, striding decisively through the thick rain, past the stunned bodyguard. Khan stood frozen, watching Jin's retreating back until it disappeared into the darkness and the rain. A thought filled with astonishment and doubt suddenly arose in the seasoned bodyguard's mind. "That power," he mumbled, "it's certainly not an aura." An unbelievable thought flashed through his mind. No way! Mana? If so, then this is no longer simply a quarrel between brothers. His face hardened under the brim of his hood. The gravity of the matter left him no room for hesitation. "I must report this to the Patriarch." Stepping out of the shadows, Khan called out to a servant standing nearby, his voice deep and decisive amidst the falling rain. "You there, bring me a horse." "Yes, Sir Knight," the servant quickly replied and swiftly departed. From inside the warm mansion, Jin Runcandel quietly watched through the window, seeing Khan's hurried figure and the horse gradually disappear into the rain. He knew the knight's destination well. Jin thought to himself, his gaze unwavering, "I knew it. He'll go report to father. Although Khan is our guardian knight, he is also a supervisor."
In his heart, Jin Runcandel pondered, in Khan's eyes, that must have looked like magic. I'm sure he won't let it go. The boy slowly raised his hand. Dark, smoke-like energy streams began to gather, swirling around his hand. Darkness energy, Jin murmured to himself, proof of my pact with Solderet. Thanks to this power, I discovered that the pact with Solderet is still effective even in this life. The image of a gigantic, hooded entity appeared in his mind, a testament to the powerful covenant he possessed. And also thanks to curse immunity, a privilege of one who made a pact with Solderet, I was able to avoid the blade illusion. He recalled the moment the illusory shackles vanished before touching him. Jin clenched his hand, causing the dark energy to flare intensely before dissipating. A steel-hard determination gleamed in his eyes. The fool of Runcandel, Jin Runcandel, no longer exists. From now on, many things will be different from my previous life. A slight, confident smile spread across the boy's lips. Amidst the twilight scene with a violet sky and lush trees, he determined his next goal. Now, the only thing left is to meet father.
In the gloomy forest, a cloaked figure whispered after reporting, "That's how it is," then quietly turned and vanished into the hazy mist. "The youngest has defeated the Tona twins," he murmured, a glint of determination in his eyes. His voice deepened, full of authority. "Khan, gather the flag bearers. I must go meet the youngest." Khan, his scarred face bearing a loyal and stern expression, silently accepted the command. Under the silvery moonlight filtering through the leaves, a woman with long, flowing platinum hair glanced at the man beside her, then silently turned and walked away. The soft clatter of her leg armor on the damp ground broke the late-night stillness. Soon after, a knight bowed and reported to a tall, imposing figure in lion-shaped armor. 7 Runcandel flag-bearers and 200 knights have been assembled. "Good," a satisfied smile briefly touched the patriarch's lips. From a distance, the platinum-haired woman quietly observed, her complex gaze following the formidable army awaiting orders.
The surrounding air was somewhat chilly, yet it seemed unable to stir the pensive look on his face. Nearby, Jin's siblings each displayed a different demeanor. One squinted tiredly, another flashed a mischievous, knowing smile, creating an atmosphere mixing indifference with underlying tension. From within the gate, a deep, authoritative voice echoed, shattering the silence. "To Storm Castle." All members of the Runcandel clan, along with their escorts, immediately took their positions, forming neat ranks and steadily following the one who gave the order.